Hi, my name is Aisha and I'm a dietetic intern. Today I'll be talking about quinoa, an ancient superfood. Superfoods are foods that are thought to have a lot of nutrients and health benefits. I'm excited to talk about what quinoa is, where it comes from, why it's good for you, and most importantly, all the delicious things that you can make with it. Many people are unfamiliar with quinoa. It's spelled strange and it doesn't sound like how it's spelled, but quinoa means mother grain. It's also called the super grain sometimes, but even though we call it a grain and we eat it like a grain, it's actually a seed. The picture that you see here is what quinoa looks like once it's cooked and mixed into a delicious salad. Quinoa comes in 3 different colors: white, red, and black. You might be wondering, where does quinoa come from? Well, it's mainly produced in South America. About 88% of all quinoa produced comes from Peru and Bolivia. Quinoa was a major part of the ancient Incan civilization. It played a really big role in ancient Incan culture, but recently it's also gained popularity across the world, including in the United States. Part of the reason why it became so popular is because of all the health benefits and nutrients that it has. In just 1 cup of quinoa, there's 220 calories, 8 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, and 4 grams of fat. In addition to all of that, it has tons of nutrients like magnesium, phosphorus, vitamin B, and omega 3s. So, how do all of those different nutrients help us? Well, they're what makes quinoa so super. Quinoa can help lower cholesterol, blood sugar, and insulin levels, which makes it a great option for people with diabetes or heart disease. It's also a complete protein because it contains all 9 essential amino acids. Most plant products don't contain all essential amino acids. Eating quinoa can help you meet your protein requirement more easily. It's also high in antioxidants, which can protect against effects of chronic disease and aging. Clearly, quinoa has a number of different health benefits, which means it might be a good option to include it in our diet. Luckily, there's a lot of different ways that you can eat quinoa, regardless of what kinds of foods that you like. One of the easiest ways that I like to eat quinoa is to add it to a salad. If there's any kind of salad that you really like, try adding a little bit of quinoa. Quinoa doesn't have a very strong taste, which means it won't change the taste of your favorite salad. A really good recipe is the one here, quinoa and chickpea salad. This one uses quinoa, chickpeas, cucumber, bell pepper, onion, and some parsley. To make the recipe a little bit easier, you can use pre-cooked quinoa instead of uncooked quinoa and just mix everything together. The recipe also uses olive oil, lemon juice, red wine vinegar, and minced garlic for the dressing, and finally some salt and pepper. This slide has more detailed instructions on how to make the quinoa and chickpea salad. It's very simple. You just combine all the ingredients together, add the topping, make sure the quinoa is cool before you eat, and then enjoy. While quinoa is great in salads, it's just as good in something sweet. If you like to eat oatmeal or cereal or porridge for breakfast, then this cinnamon quinoa breakfast bowl might be a good option for you. This one uses quinoa, any kind of milk. I prefer cashew milk. I know some people like almond milk, and cow's milk is also good for this. Cinnamon sticks or ground cinnamon, vanilla bean, or vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. Once you put that all together, with the instructions on the next slide, you can add different toppings, which is a really exciting part of this recipe. This one calls for toasted coconut flakes, peaches and raspberries, maple syrup or honey, but you can really add any kind of fresh or dried fruit, and if you like to eat nuts, you can add those as well. This slide contains detailed instructions on how to make this quinoa breakfast bowl. Like I mentioned, you can add any kinds of toppings or switch out any of the ingredients mentioned in the recipe for something that you like. Quinoa is a very adaptable ingredient. In the previous recipes, you saw how you can use quinoa in regular meals that you might already eat. On this side, I've listed a few more ideas on how you can add quinoa to meals that you might be familiar with already. For example, in the picture you can see quinoa has added to a lentil soup. You can also put quinoa in oatmeal. You can add quinoa in a chili in place of or even with ground beef. You can make an enchilada with quinoa, cheese, and black beans. And like I mentioned earlier, you can add it to virtually any salad. Thank you so much for listening.
Hi, today's presentation is going to focus on a superfood called kefir. My name is Ashley, and I am a dietetic intern with UIC, currently completing my rotations to become eligible to sit for the RD exam and become a registered dietitian nutritionist. One of my favorite things to do is focus on eating foods that can help us stay healthy. During this presentation, I will discuss what kefir is, some of the history, how to make it, the many benefits of kefir, and some ways that we can enjoy this superfood we call kefir. Let's get started. Some words that are associated with kefir are sour, tart, tangy, creamy, sweet, and bubbly. Throughout this presentation, you'll hear some reasons why there's such varied descriptors for the superfood we call kefir. What is kefir? Kefir is a fermented milk product that's similar to buttermilk, described as a drinkable yogurt and mirrors the flavor profile of yogurt. Kefir is made by adding kefir grains to milk. Kefir grains, pictured on this slide, contain yeast and lactic acid bacteria and are not really true grains. Kefir contains low levels of ethanol or alcohol and carbon dioxide. That gives it that bubbly descriptive term we mentioned previously. These are both products formed by the fermentation process and do not cause intoxication. Kefir has been consumed for thousands of years, originating in Eastern Europe, the former Soviet Union to be exact, and was originally allowed to naturally ferment made in bags made of animal hides. One way it was traditionally made was in goatskin bags that hung in doorways, so that when someone walked through the doorway, they would jostle the bag and keep the milk and grains well mixed. Another way is to have the kefir in an animal hide on travels with horses or other animals and allow the movement to jostle the bag. The kefir drink is still widely popular in Russia, Southwestern Asia, and Eastern and Northern Europe. The naming of kefir comes from Georgian and Turkish terminology that means foam or bubbles, from the appearance of the kefir grain we saw previously. Kefir made its way to the U.S. by early 21st century. It is still not widely consumed in the U.S., but popularity continues to grow. Kefir is actually pretty simple to make. You just need kefir grains, milk, a container, and some time. Kefir grains are added to the milk, cover the glass or container, and set out at room temperature for 24 hours. The grains contain yeast and lactic acid bacteria that promote the formation of kefir and prevent milk from spoiling. After 24 hours, strain out the kefir, collect the grains which can be used again. You can actually purchase kefir grains and make kefir over and over using the same grains. Well, what makes kefir a superfood? What are the benefits of this? Well, since kefir is dairy-based, kefir is a good source of calcium, it's low in sodium, and a good source of protein. Through the fermentation process, much of the lactose is broken down, making this drink more tolerable for those with lactose intolerance. Kefir also contains B vitamins to help maintain normal cell function and phosphorus, which help keep bones healthy. Unsweetened kefir is considered beneficial in nutritional therapy for diarrhea. Sweetened kefir, however, is not recommended in nutritional therapy for diarrhea. Kefir is one of few foods that contains enough probiotic strains to be defined and sold as a probiotic, which we will discuss in more detail in a moment. Evidence-based studies show that kefir may help other digestive issues and has antibacterial properties. Why are probiotics super? Probiotics contain microorganisms that help keep our gut healthy. This helps our digestion have smooth sailing. Our digestive tract naturally contains these good bacteria that exist in probiotics. Some things can damage the bacteria in our gut, such as infection, illness, and medications. Consuming probiotics like kefir help keep our digestive tract balanced to keep us healthy. Ways to enjoy kefir are similar ways that you would enjoy milk or yogurt. This includes with fresh fruit, One of my favorite things to do is put blueberries on the bottom of a bowl and pour kefir on top and eat it with a spoon. You can also use it as part of a pudding or oatmeal. You can use it as a milk replacement with cereal, add it to smoothies, or just drink it plain. Other ways you can use kefir is to use it in place of buttermilk, sour cream, heavy cream, or yogurts. And you use it in recipes such as soup bases, baked goods, or mashed potatoes. You can sweeten unsweetened kefir by adding honey, maple syrup, vanilla extract, or stevia extract. A recipe that go along with kefir is a kefir chia seed pudding, where kefir replaces the milk to make this more nutritional. And chia seeds are also a nutrient powerhouse of their own, and there are many different toppings you can add to personalize your chia seed pudding. The tropical kefir smoothie has the kefir replacing the water, and this makes it a creamier, tangy flavor and texture. With all of the knowledge that you have learned about kefir and its many benefits, enjoy your kefir and have a super day.
Mom, what is spirulina?
Spirulina is a blue-green-ish powder that comes from scum. Algae, which as we know is actually very good for you. It's a high micronutrient superfood that is very good for you.
Here are some fun facts about spirulina. Spirulina is an ancient food, once used by the Aztecs. Also, spirulina is ecologically sound, and it's being investigated to address food security. Some people think that since spirulina is so nutrient dense and sustainable, it could be used to help feed hungry people. Spirulina supplements are used to support long-term space flight. So since it is such a nutrient-rich plant food, you can put it into supplements and help astronauts on long-term space flight. At 60% protein, it's one of the most protein-dense foods in the world. Spirulina is made up of photosynthetic bacteria. It can make its own food without any living energy or the need for carbon. That's very unique for plant foods. Spirulina also occurs naturally around tropical lakes. Spirulina can be useful to help control blood sugar and glucose for individuals who have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Since NASA is a huge proponent of spirulina, you should be too. You can also use it to make delicious recipes. Those recipes will be high in protein, iron, and B vitamins. One recipe you can make is a spirulina smoothie. The preparation for a spirulina smoothie is really simple. It only takes about 5 minutes, and you add your ingredients as you like, and you get a delicious and healthy smoothie. Another recipe you can use is spirulina cookies. These are delicious, especially around the holidays, and they're packed with good, healthy nutrients while avoiding some of the less healthy ingredients that you would normally find in cookies. But don't be fooled, they're very delicious, and they'll make you feel good and have plenty of energy.